took all my income for this last year, deduct all the taxes, also all the expenses that are applicable for me to deduct. Whatever the remaining income, I'll be reported on my personal income tax form. That's pass through. That's the example of a pass through business. Doing the business in my own name, earning income, deducting as many of the expenses I can deduct, and then reporting the rest on my personal income tax. That's called a pass-through business. An accountant, many accountants do business in their own name, all right? And at the end of the year, they deduct all the expenses they're allowed to deduct, and then they report the remaining on their own personal income tax. That's an example of a pass-through business, all right? All right. There's one. Hold on just a second. Yeah, there's a question. Go ahead. Let me answer the question. I hope I can answer it in my presentation, but go ahead. What's your question?
You said contract, you talking about like an independent contract?
Yes.
Same thing?
Independent. Well, they asked, when I talk about contracts, do I mean by independent contracts? Yes, an independent contractor. That's what I do. And that's what an attorney who's in there, if they're in their own business and not working for a law firm, they're independent. They own their own. And if they haven't incorporated, they're just an independent business person practicing law, right? Now, I use that term incorporated. If those of you who have followed my classes for a while, probably at least 2 or 3 years, I talked about how you organize a business, and you can organize a business 1 or 3 ways. You can be a sole proprietor, you can be a partnership, or you can be a corporation. And I used to encourage those who are doing what I do, is to incorporate, but use a corporation, a form of corporation that works just like a partnership. And that's called an LLC. Some of you all remember those? Now, if you don't remember them, you can go to YouTube, go to the Mosque channel, pull up First Sunday, and then when you pull up First Sunday, type my name in when you get there, and you'll see a lot of those classes pop up. What I'm going to do, though, by the next time I present in March, is to be able to get used to the specific class to go to get the information on organizing your business as a corporation. Because even though these contract workers are going to get a 20%, I think they said like a 20% tax deduction, and in this new law, that may be the limit to what they get. But if you have a corporation, and you operate your own corporation, your deduction can be unlimited, all right, by law, unlimited. And not only that, if you take a loss, and the loss is more than what the gain is, you can roll the loss forward to the next year, if you have a corporation. You can't do that as an individual.
Say that one more time.
All right, so if you have, and you work as a corporation, and the LLC is what they call a limited liability company or corporation, and you've had expenses, and you have income, but you have more expenses than you have income, right? And so you report that. But since you have more expenses than income, those expenses that are beyond the income, you can roll those expenses to the next tax year and continue to take a deduction on those. All right. As a corporation, you can do that. You can't do that as an individual. All right. You know what I'm saying? All right. Which is why I say that form is the best form. Now, of business entity. But I don't want to get too far into that. I want to give you the information, inshallah, God willing. I say inshallah, and I'm saying God willing, because everybody who's watching us may not understand what that Arabic term means, okay? But I know people here understand it. A lot of people. So I want to say that I'm going to bring you the dates of those classes, and you can go to the Mosque channel on YouTube, and you can type those in and look at those classes. That's the beauty. It's there, all right, and at your own convenience, all right. All right. So, but even if you were not organized as a corporation, you're gonna get some favorable treatment in this new tax law. At least in this particular area. Now, Let me also say this though. These advantages in the new tax law are going to be available for the next 6 years. They sunset for the individuals. But for corporations, they continue. There's no ending of the tax treatment for corporations. Now, you may not like that. None of us may not like it. But I operate two corporations. That's how I operate. And remember, I encourage all of us who are in business. I don't necessarily have a problem with how those in Congress or whatever write the laws. I just want to know how to take advantage of those laws. Because I'm an American citizen just like anyone else is in America, right?
That's right.
So, I just want to know the rules. So I can play the game just like they play the game. All right. And most of you know, I came to this information being blessed by the Creator, but He guided me to Robert Kiyosaki. Okay? And that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. All right, that started my journey to what the information I have now. All right? And as you know, as I was going through that journey, I was sharing it with all of those here at the Mosque as doing First Sunday. All right? And as fast as I was learning it, I was sharing it. All right? Which I had a responsibility to do. You know, we taught as Muslims, you're not a Muslim, you're not a believer unless somebody finish the sentence for me.
One for your brother, one for your brother.
What you want for your brother, what you want for yourself. That's right. That's the only way you're a believer. Okay? All right. So, also, I don't know when the Creator is going to call me away from here. And I want to go before my Creator saying, okay, now what did you do with that knowledge I gave you? What did you do with the information I made available to you? Did you just keep it to yourself? Or did you share it with my human creation?
That's right.
I can say I shared it as best I could
That's right.
with your human creation. All right. What they did with it, I don't know.
That's right.
But I certainly tried to share it. All right. So it's so much to talk about relative to the tax law. You know, a lot of the accountants and others are just finding out some of the things that this tax law and how it's going to impact the people in business. So I'm going to have a part 2 and maybe even a part 3 of this. All right. Because the important thing is for us to take advantage of it and not to be taken advantage of. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Okay. So, again, remember, for those who have already filed your taxes, fine. And be careful now who you let file your taxes. Let me deviate just briefly. Be careful now who you let file your taxes and who you let handle your paperwork. You know, this is one of the biggest scams that's going on. People filing for other people's income tax return. And when they file the income tax return, they're being informed that, oh, you've already filed. You've already filed. Somebody's got the information, filed for their taxes, and really just ripped them off. All right. Now, the only way they can do that is somebody has to have gotten your Social Security number and maybe your tax information from the previous year or the previous years. All right. So, be careful who you go to have your tax. I have one CPA who has been filing my taxes for the last 10 years. Never had a problem. All right. Not saying that you have to do that, all right, but you need to find somebody that you can trust and you know that they're going to take care of your forms and they're not laying them around and something like that. Because something has to happen for people to be able to steal other people's information and file their taxes before they can file. Of course, now you know you can file now. You got all your 1099s back, you know you can file now. And they say the earlier you file, the better. And preferably if you can file electronically. Try to file electronically. You know, I know some people like the paper, just, you know, but if you can file electronically, because it's much more difficult for people to steal if they file electronically. Most of them are filing with paper. They're not filing electronically. Right. So I just wanted to make that mention of that. And with the 5 minutes I have left, let me also say for small businesses now. For small business owners, preparation for the changes will be more complicated and will depend on some information that has yet to be clearly defined. I'm reading from the article now. For example, the Treasury Department has said that some service companies, like law offices and accounting firms, won't be able to take advantage of the sizable tax rate reductions for so-called pass-through businesses, like limited liability companies, where individual owners pay taxes for the business on their personal tax return. But the definition of a service business hasn't been clearly spelled out. Something that's expected to come later this year, okay? So that's important. Unfortunately, there are a lot of question marks as far as what qualifies and how to qualify for it. There are a lot of folks who are going to try to shoehorn themselves into that category. That means to be a service company, so they can take advantage of these tax advantages. Let me continue. You'll probably get a bigger paycheck. Oh no, I don't want to get into that because this is individuals, and I want to mention a little bit about individuals, but I really want to get into individuals the next time I present, God willing, in March. Let me just mention this, since most people here are probably individual workers. You know, they are now pulling together the new W-2 forms to give to you so that you can determine your withholding under this new tax law, right? They say make sure of two things. Make sure you have the employer withhold enough from your paycheck so that you won't owe a big tax bill at the end of when you get through working in December, all right? You know, a lot of people, they have enough withholding, so usually they get money back, right? But if you don't have enough withheld, and you may have to wind up with a bill, and you may have to pay the government something at the end of your tax. And usually, it is the employer who asks you, okay, how much do you want to withhold? Okay, so make sure you have enough withhold from your paycheck. Now, what that means that you may not get that bump up in that take-home pay. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, okay, my take-home pay is going to increase now. Well, it may increase, but if your take-home pay increase now, when it comes time to pay the taxes, you may not have put enough away, so you don't have it. Not only will you not be getting a refund, you may have to pay. Okay? So, work with your employer. For those who are still working, work with your employer to make sure you don't fall in that kind of category. Yes, sir.
Remember George H.W. Bush, when they did that, and I remember in the office, a lot of guys did their taxes, and you could hear the gasp. And most people paid $3,000. They had to pay in. They were usually beforehand they got money back, but that was $3,000 for those who were professionals making that kind of money.
Yes.
That you owed to the government when they bumped up your individual tax,
right,
paycheck,
right,
and it's the same thing here.
Right.
Same thing.
I remember that. People got to be able to take a little more money home, but that only meant that come tax time, they owed the government. They weren't getting the refund. All right, so that's what I wanted to say for individuals. And there's a lot more that I want to talk about relative to this. But that is, I want to call that to your attention now. So, two things I want to leave you with. File your taxes. File your taxes as soon as you can. Remember, base everything that you file your taxes this year on what you did last year. All right? Unless, you know, that maybe some might have had a new birth, or you have another child, or you might have had someone pass in your family. And there may be some situations that have changed for you. All right, but if you're pretty much the same as you were last year, then file your taxes the same. But now, focus on and get prepared to take advantage of this new tax law. All right, don't allow it, and don't allow people to take advantage of you. Make sure you learn. Be open to going online. There's so much information out there, all right? And I'm going to continue to research as much as I can.
That's good.
But one of your best sources of information is your tax preparer, because this is what they do, all right? Because everybody's situation is different, all right? And so I would encourage you not to just listen to what someone else. You know, we're good for. Well, guess what I was able to do. You know, when you're talking to your friends, guess what I was able to take this kind of deduction, and this is what I got coming back. Well, wait a minute now. I don't have that much coming back. What's everybody's different. Everybody's different. No one knows everybody's situation. No one knows it. Because a lot of people don't tell you all their situation. Okay? They just don't do that. All right? So don't base what you do on what you think you should get on what somebody else has got. Make sure you worked it out for yourself. All right, so that's all I want to talk about today. I'll be glad to, I got about 4 more minutes, so I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. So does anyone have any questions about what I've spoken about? Yes, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
That's very important for people to understand what you just mentioned about the tax changes for contract employees.
Yes.
The dynamics of employment in this society has drastically changed, where people now are not in a situation where they used to get pensions
That's
and
correct.
different things like that. And most companies and corporations, you know, I work for the government Argonne National Labs, and you find that most Department of Energy people now is coming in as what they call contract employees.
Right, contract work.
And they mentioned also most lawyers is coming out of school now and is going to the law field. They're finding out that they don't have the same opportunities they used to do. Now they're contract employees.
That's correct.
So they're moving ahead. They're actually moving with what they're setting the pace for with the tax law as far as contract
Yes,
employees.
you're absolutely right. What he was saying is really important what we just talked about in terms of contract workers. You know, that's what the brother said. That is what the workforce is moving toward. You know, it's much easier for an employer to hire someone for a specific period of time or to do a particular job, task, and when that task is over, and when that time is over, they leave, all right? For the most part, they don't have to worry about no pension, they don't have to worry about no insurance, they don't have to worry about any of those kind of benefits. Now, that also boards well for a couple of things. If you know that going in, then you prepare going in.
That's right.
A lot of people prefer contract work. They prefer it. They prefer to be able to. They want to be broad. They don't want to work for nobody for no 30 years. Not the same person for no 30 years. All right. They want to be broad. All right. And they want different experiences. Many of the millennials. Y'all heard that term before? Millennials. This is what time it is for them. All right. In fact, most of the places they go to work, they don't expect to be there no more than 2 or 3 years before they're looking to go somewhere else. All right. And so the employers, they just, okay, well, this is the world we're living in. This is the world we're going to live in. All right. So we'll provide you a contract for a particular period of time or to get this task done, and after that's over, okay, that's over. What I say it bodes well for is the entrepreneur. You have that entrepreneurial spirit. Even though you're working for some, you have that entrepreneurial spirit. All right. Have that spirit, particularly in this day and time, and look out for yourself. All right. The employer's not looking out for you anymore. All right. Look out for yourself. Hold on just a second. Look out for yourself. One of the things that Robert Kiyosaki, when I learned by reading his books, he was talking about the pension system. And he was saying the 401k, why the 401k came in and the defined pensions left. All right. Because the employers did not want to be responsible for people's, because of the cost, just the cost of it. All right. And if you didn't look out for yourself, you were in bad shape. Even now, there are a lot of people who can't stop working. You know why they can't stop working? Because they didn't put enough away for retirement. That's right. All right? So they can't stop working. I listened to a story on the news the other day unfortunately, this young lady has this mountain of student debt. A mountain of student debt. Her payment every month just for her student loan is $500. $500 for a student loan payment. She said, "I'll be paying it forever." She said, she said,
Do she pay that?
she has to pay it. Either she pays it,
Or they take it out
or
of?
they're going, they're
Take it out
gonna,
of the
yeah,
income tax.
because that's the only debt that you cannot dispatch through bankruptcy. Ain't that something? You can discharge any other debt, but you cannot discharge student debt. You know, there's a reason why they set that up like that. But anyway, so just saying, I didn't want to get off. I had to take up a little time to wait till Imam was ready. Whatever, you ready, brother Imam?
Yes, sir.
All right. First, so let me. Oh, I got one more question. Can I take one more question, brother Imam?
You sure can. Let me
Okay.
know my request.
Yes, sister.
With the girl with the student loan?
Yes.
She can apply for a hardship.
Yes.
Now, all they would do is take her financial information
Yes.
and see how much she can pay a month.
Yes.
And she might be able to lower her payment.
Well, I think she did. I think she got it down to that $500 a month. And let's see what she did. Real briefly, she majored in history. She majored in history.
She went for a PhD.
That's exactly what she was going for, a PhD. All right. I have nothing. There's nothing wrong with the type of majors that people decide that's what they want to do. When you take out that kind of money, she was going to a private school. When you take out that kind of money, with that type of degree, and you're not looking at what that degree is going to pay, and how you're going to be paying, how you're going to live, I only would say this to all of us who have young people, nieces, nephews, whatever, thinking about going to college or whatever, you know, be careful of two things. What you decide you're going to major in, and then how much debt you want to get in before you graduate. Because that debt is going to follow you for as long as you have it. Okay? For as long as you have it, it's going to follow you. You know, so I just want to leave that with us. I have one grandson in college. I got another one getting ready to go to college. All right, and I'm advising them all the time. You know, and we all should do that for our children and our grandchildren, because none of them should have to go through what we have gone through. So, with that, brothers and sisters, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your questions. May Allah continue to bless all of us. All right. I leave you with the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum. May God's peace be with you. Thank you, brother man.
Can I dovetail with what you just
You
said?
can certainly welcome
Yeah,
to.
about 1 minute, we're gonna bring up Alfred. But my wife, when she got her PhD, well, before that, we got married, and you know, you always have agreements before you get, you know, when you get married, your contract. So when I retired, she reminded me of something. I had a pension and a 401k, so I took a cash out and we rolled it over. And she said, "You know what you promised me?"
One hand.
Nope. No, she get that anyway. He said, "You know what you promised me?"
Wait a minute, let me turn it down.
Nope. He said, "You remember?" He said, when he said when I'm going, we're going to go back to school. Because what happened is she dropped out, and with 2 years of college, and I promised that she would go back to school after my youngest son got into kindergarten. So she went back. So she got a 4-year degree, master's, and PhD. She said, "You know what you promised me?" Now this is 3 years ago. You promised to pay off my student loan. I paid off the student loan, which I had a choice: pay off my house in Michigan or pay off my student loan. So who you think I paid off? Student loan. Because I'm married to my wife for 45 years, and I like to stay married a little bit longer. But yeah, you have to manage, you know, by the grace of God and stuff like that. But what they did, as you said, is that they're getting out of that. They're trying to get away from your pensions. And they want to get. They might, have you. What'd you say, brother?
They have gotten away from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And contracting is the way that they're doing now.
Yes. All right. So with that, we have a distinguished brother.
That's right.
And he'll introduce himself. But Imam Alfred, we all know Imam Alfred,
That's
but
right.
he's a councilman from New Jersey.
That's right.
And he's well known all around.
That's
And
right.
I mean, he does tremendous things in support of the mosque here.
That's right.
And he's our friend. And with that, I'd like to bring up Imam Alfred.
That's right.
Imam
All right,
Alfred
Dr.
Muhammad.
Takbir!
Right.
That's the house.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
And Imam Alfred, just a second.
You want to do Facebook Live, right?
Yes.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing fine. How you doing?
I'm just trying to think of your phone. Let me know.
You're asking a blind man to see.
But this is your phone.
I am a technical zero. But look, I'm one of those guys when they say you got to use a mic. I was thinking they were talking to a rat.
All right, Facebook. Come on, go to your Facebook.
And then while we're waiting on the business side of things, in Illinois, they just reduced all the costs for the LLC. So if you're trying to get a business license, they cut all those fees almost in half. So you might want to check that.
Okay, do because the council had 250 persons. Is that it?
Well, it was Rounder that did it, so I don't know what he's up to.
Let's go back. Let's see.
So basically, if you're gonna open a school, you'd need an LLC maybe?
Well, schools are different. I don't know. Yeah, because they're nonprofit a lot of times. But if you got any LLC, I think it was like $500, and now it's like
better than one.
Yeah,
$200.
especially when you're dealing with a guy who's a technical zero. But before I get off the planet, I'll be competent. I tell you that. That's two things. I'm going to be competent in the technical field.
Okay, so let me know when you're ready, buddy, man.
This is my girl.
Yeah, you're ready. Oh, wait.
That's it. I think they're wrong.
Okay. Ready, Sister Rob?
Good evening to our Facebook Live audience. Peace be on you and peace be on the noble and honorable citizens of these United States of America. And especially to my constituent of the 4th Ward, which is the greatest ward in the history of municipal government in the city of Linden. I must tell you, I will be on the ground Monday God willing, and this addresses to you as well. But I haven't addressed you in a long time. And I will be seeing you and taking care of your constituents' needs. You all got my number, 908-494-6362. And you can reach me on the Linden line. You know, national figure can never forget the home front. Can't forget that. One of my daughters had illness. She said, "Daddy, you just got sworn into the city council. Don't forget, you're still a dad." And she had some news to tell me, which wasn't very good news, but later on turned out because she had a health issue. And I must tell my Chicago audience and the national audience, I had a terrible, terrible time getting here. I was in Washington when I got the call. I had contacted Sister Robin, and I said, you know, I'm